Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into a really big shift in how Canada talks to immigration applicants. We're looking at a brand new policy from IRCC. That's Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada. And it is set to totally change the game for anyone who's ever had an application refused. Let's get right into it.
So, have you ever applied for a Canadian visa and gotten that dreaded refusal letter? You wait and wait, maybe for weeks, maybe for months, only to get this super generic response. It is so frustrating, right? You're left completely in the dark, just guessing what on earth went wrong.
Well, you know what? That whole era of uncertainty, it's about to change. The Canadian government is rolling out a new policy, and it's designed to tackle this exact problem head-on. This is a huge step toward making the whole process way more open and, frankly, understandable for everybody.
Okay, so put this date in your calendar. As of July 29, 2025, IRCC officially kicked off a new way of handling certain application refusals. And look, this isn't just some small tweak. We're talking about a fundamental shift in how they communicate, and it's all about giving you clarity straight from the source.
The real heart of this change boils down to one thing: officer decision notes. So what are these? These are the internal comments, the actual reasoning, written by the immigration officer who made the final call on your file. Getting these notes used to be a whole separate, long process, but not anymore.
And this really gets to the core of what the government says it's trying to do here. By just giving you these notes from the get-go, IRCC is aiming for way more transparency. The whole idea is to pull back the curtain on the decision-making process, giving you a direct look at how the officer saw your application.
But, and this is super important, this is a phased rollout. That means it doesn't apply to every single type of application right away. So let's take a closer look at exactly who's included in this first wave. Okay, so let's break this down. On the left, you can see what's included in Phase 1. We're talking about temporary resident visas, for visitors, plus study permits and work permits. Also, visitor records and any extensions for these types. Now look at the right side. For now, this new rule doesn't apply to ETAs, temporary resident permits, and, this is a big one, any application you submitted through the new IRCC portal.
Now, if you don't see your application type on that included list, don't panic just yet. The government has confirmed that the plan is to add more application types to this program over time. This is really just the starting point, and the goal is to expand this whole transparency thing in the future.
So we know who's affected, but how does this new process actually work in practice? Well, the good news is they've made it incredibly simple. It's really as easy as 1, 2, 3. First, your application gets refused. Second, the officer's decision notes are just automatically attached right there with the refusal letter. And third, that whole package, the letter and the notes, is sent straight to you or your rep. The most important part? You don't have to ask for it anymore. It just happens. It's proactive. Okay, so while this is a massive step forward, it's really important we talk about the limits and exceptions. You've got to manage your expectations to really make sense of this new information. Now this, right here, is the biggest catch. The policy says IRCC can exclude certain portions of the notes. What does that mean? It means some parts might be blacked out, redacted, for reasons like national security or to protect someone's privacy. So yes, you'll get the notes, but they might not be 100% complete.
So, just to recap the key things to keep in mind. First, remember it's a phased rollout, so check if your application type is even on the list yet. Second, be ready for the possibility that the notes might have parts blacked out. And third, if you applied through that new IRCC portal, this policy doesn't cover you, at least for now.
But even with those limits, the main goal here is crystal clear. It's about empowering you, the applicant. Finally getting the why behind a refusal, that's so valuable for understanding what happened and figuring out your next steps. And this whole thing leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. As officers know that their private notes are now going to be read by applicants, will that change how they write them? Could this push for transparency actually lead to more detailed, maybe even more consistent decisions down the line? It's something to watch for sure.